9/11 changed the game in a significant way. We canceled the games that weekend and spent a lot of time thinking about helping to get people back to normal.
We come out every single day for the last 8 years, and I've seen 2 towers standing there. They're not there. There's nobody thinking about football. Nobody's mind is on a game.
Really, it was the players who drove the decision not to play after 9/11.
To me, it just felt like we just can't play football right now.
This time, and it's for the first time in its history, the NFL has canceled all of its games this weekend, and according to a couple of the players at least, it was not a difficult decision for them.
When play resumed, Commissioner Paul Tagliabue made sure each game had a patriotic feel.
It was to show that as a nation we were unified and resilient and determined and not cowed.
I think it kind of recalibrated everybody's sense of what was important. All of a sudden, listening to the Star-Spangled Banner took on a lot more meaning than it had for a lot of people prior to that.
The NFL was determined to move forward with the season and play a full schedule, including the Super Bowl in New Orleans. For the halftime show, they would need an act that was equal to the moment.
It's hard always to find an act that can really captivate a stadium. With U2, you had the first post-classic rock supergroup still at the top of its game with a new release that was instant classic and massive. And let's face it, a frontman who embraces the role.
We reached out to U2, went and met Bono and The Edge and everybody out in Vegas, and it was not a hard sell.
Like a lot of people, I'm a big U2 fan. And I had gone to Madison Square Garden. It was one of the few concerts that were still happening after 9/11. And they played a song, but then started projecting the names of the victims of 9/11, all across the arena. And people didn't really realize what was happening at that moment. But all of a sudden you'd hear, oh my God, there's my brother.
The band had one thing that we cared deeply about, that people aren't statistics. So our idea was, let us just present these people, their names. There was a lot of hostility to the idea within our management and within the circle of the band. People said, you can't do that in New York, you cannot do that. It's just too much. I said, no, we must do that. That's how you honor people. Because no relative wants to believe that they've lost a statistic.
At Super Bowl 36, the St. Louis Rams and the greatest show on turf were the heavy favorite to bring home a second Lombardi in 3 years. But second-year quarterback Tom Brady and the upstart New England Patriots had destiny on their side.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Super Bowl 36.
When you get to that point and understand that you're one of the 2 teams representing our game, our country, on the biggest stage, there's no question that it took on a different weight. I think as a league, we felt a responsibility because of what we do and because of the amazing platform that we had to get back to playing football as a means of saying we will not let what happened stop us from being the greatest country in the world.
I had seen them on that tour, so I knew that they put the names up for 9/11. And I knew the power of that. But still, when they did it during The Streets Have No Name, just remember literally dropping my notebook and going, oh.
The thundercloud passes rain, so let it rain, let it rain on me. So the night show forth thy praise. Yes. America! Thank you.
Sometimes the power of music can say something that you can't really express with words somehow. So just that image of all of those names scrolling up and Where the Streets Have No Name playing at the same time, it was like kind of cathartic, sort of gentle and graceful and honoring this thing that confused a lot of the world.
And I actually remember, trying to come out at halftime, and I came back out on the field and they were still performing, and it was at the moment where, they had names of those that had passed on 9/11. And as much as you were in your zone to play the game and play football, you couldn't help but recognize how special it was to be a part of that moment.
We play Where the Streets Have No Name whenever we need God to walk through the room. It means stepping outside yourself, imagining the possibilities. It's just asking people, do you want to go on this journey together? To that place of soul, place of imagination, place where the streets have no name, that other place.
When Bono pulls open his jacket and reveals the American flag, he's saying a lot of things. This is a moment of pride, this is a moment of triumph, but in the triumph, there has been great tragedy.
I think the fact that they understood that moment and the fact that they really knew how to communicate that moment was incredibly emotional.
It was a whole different set of circumstances. It's hard to compare it to anything else because it was much more than entertainment.
I unequivocally said at the time and unequivocally stand by now that U2 halftime performance is the best in Super Bowl history, and I would say by far.
From the music to the message to the timing, that it's just never going to be topped.
He just understood the importance of that moment and that moment for healing and driving our country forward, and just honored to be a part of it.
I believe that was the most important event ever held in the National Football League, because it's very difficult now, 15 years later, for people to remember they weren't flying anywhere. You weren't going to big events, and you were afraid of everything that was going to take place.
If you go back and look at it today, that we understood the place of sports, and particularly the place of the NFL in the larger universe.
Thank you.